All right, to my guest, thank you so much for being on the show. How are you? How are you feeling?
I'm wonderful. How are you? I'm thankful to be here.
Yes, all is cute. I'm feeling well. I had a 3-day weekend, so I feel nice and relaxed. I got a lot of sleep, so I feel good.
I wish I could say the same. I've been eating and resting and just getting ready for an event next week down in Miami for 3 days. So, hey, I'm
Well, listen,
grateful.
eating and resting is good.
Oh yeah, what? I get my 8 to 9.
Okay,
Listen, I'm
listen.
I'm 55, so I have to make sure that I'm getting that good sleep.
Yes, yes. I think I told you this already, but I am really excited to have you on the show because I know your story would definitely resonate with a lot of men. So thank you so much for really coming on and being transparent.
You're welcome. Very open. Listen, you can ask me anything.
Yes, well, I have a lot of questions to ask you because I know you have
Okay.
lived a life. I know you had a very challenging upbringing, but you were also had a lot of great things going on in your later on in your adult life. So I'm really
Yeah.
excited to have this conversation with you. So, how do you feel societal attitudes towards homosexuality, especially within religious belief, impact individuals' journeys with faith, including your own?
As far as the society now, it's now
Hmm.
more accepting
Right.
because of the laws of the land and how the homosexual community have enforced that you're going to accept me, that our rights, we're here, we deserve to be treated equally and
Hmm.
fairly. We deserve it.
Right.
Now, society as a whole, now I'm going to separate homosexual society from heterosexual regular society. There's still barriers and issues and problems that's going on because I can go all over the place with this. I can
Hmm.
say for myself personally, when I was in it, that it wasn't like how it is now with how they're trying to enforce it on children. I have a problem with that.
That's a lot of people have an issue with that.
I do too, because
Hmm.
even if you see a child and they may have those tendencies or whatever, you as an adult, gay man or lesbian, you do not have a right to come over here and tell this child it's okay to be that way. That is not your child or
Hmm.
that is not your family member. So
Right.
what you give that you feel like you should enforce that they should accept it. It should be that way. You're pushing that agenda on them, and I don't like that. How they're trying
Hmm.
to make all these rules and teaching about two mommies and two daddies, and living in a household where it's just same-sex loving. I don't. I hate that. I've always
Mm.
had a problem with that,
Mm.
even before this was an issue. That's one of the things that I don't care for
Right.
when it comes to the homosexual community. Now, as far as the religious aspect, I will say, since God delivered me from it almost 14 years ago.
Mm.
Yeah, it's been 14 years.
Oh,
Can I,
wow.
can I go? Can I go? Do you know about my books? Did
I do
I?
know about your books. I got you on the
Okay,
books. I got you on the
okay,
books. Yeah.
okay. So when I was delivered from it, I was still being shamed, taunted, picked at, and because of how I grew up, knowing how to fight and how to handle myself, you're not going to talk to me crazy.
Yeah, you had those hands.
I don't what? I had no choice.
Right.
I'm a big man, so I had no choice. And my father taught me to fight, or you either beat them up or I beat you up. It's like, what do
Yeah.
you want to do?
Yeah, that's how
So
we
as
grew
far as
up.
the religious aspect of it, I find it very taxing how people don't want to accept you because of something that happened to me that I had no choice in being in. But you don't want to accept me because I was raped or molested or abused, but you'll take on that uncle that likes to rape little girls or rape little boys, or you'll take on that auntie or that family member that does incest or lust or a drunkard or abuser. I've seen that.
Hmm.
They'll accept them better than you being a fag or a sissy or a homo. I've
Right.
even heard people say, well, I would rather for my son to be a serial killer than to be a homosexual.
Right.
And
Right.
these are people that sit in the church.
Hmm.
So what I learned is God's love is unconditional.
Yeah.
I put the religion aspect out the way and I built a relationship with the creator and learned that God loves me, Jesus loves me, the Holy Spirit loves me. And I had to push that out the way because if I didn't, I wouldn't even be talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
I would have no relationship with him. But the religious aspect of it's what it is. It's religious has so many ground rules and laws and stuff stacked on it that's so against what you are, but you can accept everybody else but me. My time
Right.
is different from anyone else from what they're being delivered or set free from, if you want to, be delivered from it.
Now that's one
So
thing I didn't know about your story. I didn't know that you was delivered from it for almost 14 years.
yes, 14 years. Yes.
Mm. And what made you what why you why you laughing?
You're like,
No, because I think that's also another conversation that a lot of people are starting to have, which also, you know, a lot of people say not so nice things. So, I mean, I think that's amazing that you are able to live in your truth and also share your story with other people and inspire other people because you just never know what other people who have similar stories like yourself are is going
yes,
through.
yes, that's true.
So what pushed you to want to be delivered? Was it your relationship with God or did something happen?
You want me to be honest?
Yeah, I want you to be honest.
I'm gonna come close to this screen. I didn't want to be delivered.
Mm.
I was comfortable in it. I was content. I was happy.
Cause you
I
you
loved.
enjoyed the lifestyle. Like you was
I enjoyed
outside
it.
and you was
Right? I
known.
enjoyed it. I love being gay. I love being in the atmosphere. It wasn't about sleeping around or having sex with a man. I love being gay because I was free to be myself. I love
Right.
being gay because I enjoyed the people that I was around, the creativity. And that was something that I grew up in since I was a child. So I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to be delivered. I still was seeking the molester. I would always put his face on someone that I was dating because I was still looking for that same person, that seed
Right.
planted. So I always looked for that father figure until I became a father figure. So I
Mm.
enjoyed the lifestyle. I didn't want to let it go. When the choice came of me being delivered was God speaking to me one day, telling me to move back to West Palm Beach because I was living in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me
Oh,
the
I know you was
lifestyle.
outside in Miami.
What? I was off the chain in Miami. I was part of the House of Milan, a ballroom scene. I was a father down there. The clubs, the outings, the dates, the chat lines, the sex lines, the
Yeah.
fun, getting all this money, having this good time with different guys. I didn't want to be delivered because I was okay with it. I was
Yeah.
fine with it. But when God spoke to me, gentle, loving, again, relationship, because I've always had one with him, I just chose to straight and do my own thing. I've had a relationship with him since when I was about 15, 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But his love pulled me in and he told me gently that I need to move back from Miami, come back to Palm Beach.
Mm.
And he told me the lifestyle was over. He said, you have allowed everyone else to use you but me.
Mm.
And it's my turn now.
Mm.
He told me it was over. And he started pulling that out of me. He started working on me to get me delivered and set free from it. I was still going back and forth, teetering and tottering to Miami, the balls, everything, trying to find a date, had a lover. Holy Spirit told me, you have to break up with him. Gentle and loving, because his plan was being enforced of him using my story for his purpose and his glory. Now,
Mm.
the true deliverance came when I went to back in the day, them Terrian services, where they
Uh-huh.
would, you remember them ladies in all white, praying,
Yeah.
praying, praying until you foamed at your mouth and spoke in tongues. We had a
Yeah.
deliverance service at my church one day, and a man came up to me, one of the ministers, and he said, God has shown me that you have a demon on your back.
Mm.
Like, no, I don't, because I'm now into the church. I'm still like nobody I'm dating. I was like, I don't have a demon. I speak in tongues. I can prophesy. I can sing. I can do this, do that. He said, yeah, but it's on you. And he said, God has to get that off of you. And that spirit of homosexuality was still holding on to me because I still had the desires to want to go back. I still
Mm.
had the desires to want to be with someone. I still was clamoring and reaching, trying to see if it's still going to work. And God kept saying, it's over. Let it go.
Mm.
I will say this, when he removed that spirit off of me, it was like something pushed off my back. I felt it, a spirit jump off my back, and he said, I can't let you go. I've been assigned to you. And I was like, what? And the man said, don't say anything because I can see him getting him off of me. And when he did that, I fell to the ground and I felt free. And it's like it still kept trying to come back to me. And my flesh was so used to
Having that
the
spirit on you.
same one that it would try to bring people that I dated from years ago back to me. People
Mm.
that I didn't even know that was
And the
attracted
enemy
to
will
me.
use everything that you used to really love to
They were
attack
coming
you.
like gangbusters. So yes,
Wow.
God really delivered me, and I'm married now to a beautiful woman. We've been together for 5 years, been married for a year in December coming up, but it was not easy. And
Was it hard? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I've always wanted to be with a woman, by the way, but we'll get into that.
Really? So
Always.
let me ask you a question. So do you think that people are born gay?
No.
Mm,
The reason why is because God does not make mistakes. We're never born gay. It's something, a spiritual force, as we call them demons, can be assigned to you just like angels. See, the devil, Satan is the worst copycat of God. We're
mm-hmm,
all assigned guardian angels. So he assigns spirits to us to try to taint and contaminate and destroy our lives.
mm-hmm,
And I believe that they are assigned certain demons to you for certain reasons. And as I
mm,
said, that spirit told me, I've been assigned to you. I can't let you go. It's like if he fails, he's going to be punished. And that's why I don't believe no one's born gay.
mm. And I know you said that you always wanted to be with a woman. So, because I want to get into your childhood, because I feel like your childhood definitely played an intricate part of your journey. So, do you think that, and I'm jumping ahead, but do you think that people who are sexually abused by the same sex, that could be a reason why they can be gay?
Yes, I believe that. That's what happened to me. And a
Right,
lot of the people that I know in the homosexual lifestyle, they were raped or molested or abused, or it's many different factors. Some of them
right.
saw abuse from afar in their family or in their household,
Mm-hmm. Facts.
where, for example, I have a family member who saw her mom and dad constantly go at it, and she no longer wanted to be with a woman. She's now a full-fledged lesbian. Like she's the man of the relationship. She said because she saw how her dad abused her mom.
Mm,
I have some transsexual friends that transposed into becoming a woman because they didn't have a mother figure in their
mm,
life, or they were so pushed away from females in their family and their mom not being there and then being adopted or brought into the family with such abuse that they literally morphed into their mother, becoming
mm.
their mom. It's so many different factors as to why, but a majority of them has been molestation or rape and abuse.
Right. Now, was it difficult? Damn. So let me I read a lot, right? But
Mm-hmm.
my community know that I've been trying to find a balance between like my personal life and my professional life because you know how it is. Like you do a lot of things. I've seen your businesses and stuff. So like I'm pretty sure you can understand like just having that balance can be a little challenging at times.
Yes.
So I said it to say that I wasn't able to read your books, but I did a lot of research on you. But now, as soon as we done with our conversation, I gotta order all books now. Because I was not expecting this.
We may have to do a part two.
I think we are going to have to do a
After reading the
part.
book.
Yeah.
That's why we said I'm open transparency. I can divulge whatever you want to hear because my story goes very, 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 very deep.
Yeah. So when you got delivered, how did your community feel? Because you are a known figure in Florida.
Well, I'm going to tell you because of my character and my
Right.
personality in the LGBT community, they were like this. We still love you. That
Right.
I'm called dad or father because of how I treated them. And dad, we love you. We don't care about that. We're happy for you. We always
Right.
wanted you to be happy for you because I would pray with them. I would allow some of them to stay with me. Different things would carry, different scenarios and situations where I rescued them from jail, prison, been there when they were sick, homeless, going through the motions. So it's how you treat people.
Right.
Because if I was a nasty person and then they found out that I was like no longer part of the community, they didn't care. They were very receptive and loving and saying happy congratulations when they saw that I was getting engaged and got married. So I didn't
Yeah.
have any backlash at all.
I mean, but that speaks to your character too, like you said. So.
Yes, it does. So they're still receptive and loving to me about that. Some of them weren't shocked. Some people that wanted to date me was kind of angry, but I mean,
Mm.
it was what it was.
Oh, I know they was tight.
It was,
They was tight, wasn't it? They was like, oh, that's why he don't want to be with me.
it's all good. It's all good. Yes.
Yeah. So was it difficult for you to start dating women? Like, how was that
Okay.
journey?
Okay. When I didn't go in right away because it
Yeah,
was
I
an
can imagine.
adjustment for me. It was an adjustment for me to be with a woman sexually. So I had to gradually grow into. I love the person that God brought into my life because
Hmm.
we one day we were fasting and praying. We were like 3 days, and God spoke to me and said that was my wife. But I had to gradually grow into how do I love her? How do I physically love her? Because I'm already mentally and emotionally loving you, financially loving on you. But how do I physically pleasure you when it's something I've never done before?
Right.
So I had to talk to God about being honest and you know what? My flesh still wants to pull this way, but I need to know, am I going to be pleasant and pleasing to her physically?
Right.
What do I do? And God spoke to me. A person called me. I didn't tell anyone this, and you're like the first person, second person I've told this.
Oh, I feel
Said,
special.
thank you. He
Hmm.
said, God is telling me to tell you. And again, I told no one. God says he has to keep that spirit in like a stranglehold because it tries to come back to you.
Yeah.
So he had to keep it at bay. And then eventually I started getting more and more being intimate with my wife, being to pleasure her, to please her. But it was an adjustment at first.
Yeah. Did you have moments of weakness when it comes to men?
Of course,
Yeah.
a lot. Even before we got married, I had a lot of those weaknesses. And it was very tempting at times. And I was like, God, you got to get me out of this. And I did not want to do it because I didn't want to not please not please God before we even got married. So he had to help me, he had to strengthen me because there are some days that my body was reacting to it. I'm like, hey, it's going on, sir.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Like, hey, you're gonna have to forgive me. It ain't like there's baby steps with this. So I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
sorry.
No, seriously. That's all you knew for a moment. So,
Yes.
we're gonna keep in contact because if your wife is open to it, I would love to have you both back on because I think this
Oh,
is a conversation that is definitely needed for our community, especially those who have stories that's similar to yours. And like you said, the spirit was put on you.
yes.
So
Yes.
we're gonna have to arrange that if she's open to it. But I already think this is a beautiful conversation because I haven't had a conversation like this before on my show. Yeah, so thank you for
Yes.
just the transparency.
You're welcome. I hope to
Yeah.
help someone or some ones that will watch this.
Oh, it's definitely going to help a lot of people. And I think that a lot of women a lot of my professional homegirls, they're very excited about the men's series because on my show, for the most part, I only interview women. But, my male listenership is growing and, I love Black men. And I feel like a lot of Black men are listening to the show because they want to learn. So just having you and my other male guests on the show, I know that women are going to just be so into our stories and just excited
Yes.
to listen to it. So I think it's going to be really good.
Yes, yes. Congratulations on that too.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Big deal.
When you share your story, like what's the reception that you receive?
Uh, It really depends. It really depends
Right.
on the mindsets of where people are at. I do have more
Yeah.
women that are receptive to my story than men because they don't see, oh, that nigga's still gay. They don't
Right.
like no man, that nigga lying. These are the comments I see. Do you
Right.
believe that? Was gay always gay? Oh, he's a fag. Oh, he's an undercover. Blah blah blah.
But do you
He
think
must
this
be
come from Black
yeah.
women? Is it mostly from Black women or
Mostly from Black men. Now, I do get a handful of Black women that will say it, but the majority of the supporters are Black women. They're like they
okay, good.
support what's going on. So I'm
Mm,
like, hey, okay. And I take it with a grain of salt ward off a duck's back. I know it's going to come with the territory, and I have to have tough skin. If I don't, I'm going to be throwing these hands on everybody. And what is that going to do?
Nah, you can't be knocking people out no more now.
No, I don't do that. I'm a saved and changed man. So I don't let God fight my battles, but there's no need. I'm telling my truth. I'm telling my story. I'm telling what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're upset about my truth, then you have the problem. I don't have the problem.
Yeah. Have you met any other, like anybody else who's been delivered that you can like lean on when you had your moments of weaknesses, or like just somebody to share some of the things that you was going through during that time or even now?
Um, as far as them being delivered from homosexuality, I'm trying to think like
Like, do you know anybody?
not, not really. I do know some guys that have shared with me that they've done it a time or two, that they messed around in jail, prison, or when they got out, they messed around. They're now with women and have kids and family. But as far as someone that really is not in the lifestyle anymore, like no, not really,
Mm,
not really.
wow. Now, share, talk to us about your family dynamics growing up.
Okay, sure. Growing up in our household, it was four of us, four
Mm-hmm.
kids. My oldest sister was not my father's. They didn't get along. He told my mom she had to go. So it's three of us. I'm the
Where did
youngest
she
of
go?
He sent her back to Sylvania, Georgia, to my grandmother,
Wow.
my mom's mom. They didn't get along. My sister was very feisty. She didn't play. She would fight you to this day.
Mm,
And he sent her. My father he was very violent. He was an abusive alcoholic.
mm-hmm.
Found out later on he was doing drugs too. My mother, she was the saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled woman, took us to church every Sunday, Bible study on Wednesday, Sunday school, Sunday morning, loved the Lord, prayed, spoke in tongues, and she was getting her eyes beat out of her head.
Wow.
And we had to watch this. My father's in a drunken rage, coming home, spending all his money in the street, or it was taken. He's pissy drunk. We have to walk on eggshells and glass at the same time.
Right. Because you don't know what you're gonna get from him.
We don't know who he gonna hit first, or what is he gonna reach, or what. So it was just really weird because we had to experience a lot of fighting, a lot of trying to help our mom. She's 5'4", he's 6'5".
Mm,
He he's twice the size of me,
mm.
and he was beating our mother profusely. And we tried to do our best to stop him. My second oldest sister had already left. She left right out of high school, got married, and lived right next door. They didn't know what was going on. He used to beat on her too. So as me and my brother got older, my oldest brother started getting really tall and really big, to the point my brother said, "To hell, enough is enough."
Right.
It was so bad. Like my daddy would heat up an iron and wait for my mom to come home, just because he mad because he don't went in the street and spend all this money with these women and gotten drunk, and now he don't have any money to pay any bills, so he's gonna take it out on her.
Do you think your mom knew that he was on drugs?
She had to.
Right.
She had to know. We were young, so we didn't know anything.
Right.
So he would wait and he would get her and trap her in a room and lock the door and burn her with the iron. My brother would have to break the door down to stop him from doing that.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
He would beat her with bats. We would I would be her protective shield on her bottom half, my brother on her top half. So we're holding her so he can hit us instead of hitting him, hitting her.
Did she ever say why she stayed?
No, she didn't. But
Mm,
I realized later my mother stayed out of fear, and she stayed thinking, where am I going to go with four children? I'm going back to
right.
Savannah to the country. They were already laughing at her and pointing fingers for her having a child out of wedlock because my mom's family is Christian, devout, traveling ministers, all of that. So she would
Mm.
have been like the laughing stock of the family. And then she stayed out of, I don't know why, out of
Because
fear.
he could have killed her.
Hmm.
He could have killed her.
He could have killed her.
Yeah.
But it came to a point where my brother was 16, I was 13. My brother said he was tired of that. So one day my dad came home. He was so drunk. My brother took his pocket, he always kept a knife, pulled it out and put it at his throat. And I'm standing there with a bat. And my brother said, I don't give a damn. If he swing on me, you better hit him, because if you don't, I'm gonna beat you. This is my brother telling me. He told my daddy, put that knife to his neck. He said, if you ever touch my mother again, the next time you get drunk, I'm gonna stab you in your neck until you stop breathing.
Mm.
He never touched my mother again.
Did you look at your mom differently because of that? Or
No,
did that situation make you look at women differently?
it made me want to be more protective of women.
Right.
I'm overly protective of my wife or any female. You can't talk to them crazy around me. I have a problem with that because of the situation.
Yeah,
So
it's a big trigger.
yeah, it did not make me look at her different. I love my mother because my mother, let me tell you, my mother prayed us through situations of jails, prison, sickness, diseases, robberies, you name it. God would tell her something's going on, and she would go to praying and call us and say, this is what's going on. So I love my mother to the day we had to put her on the ground.
Mm,
You couldn't tell me nothing about her because that woman loved us unconditionally. And I knew I was a menace.
mm. And do you think anybody else was aware of everything that was going on? Or did y'all just look like y'all was like the perfect family?
Oh, who knew? You see how well I'm dressed now? Oh, we
He is
stayed
sharp,
late.
baby. He got this
We
shirt on.
stayed
I was like, I like this shirt.
late. We stayed laced. We stayed dressed well. My mother shopped at the best of malls and stores. We were a two-car, one-truck family in a small
Mm,
apartment. We looked good. We ate good. We presented well before the family. No one knew. You know when they
mm.
found out? When my book came out.
Wow. And that's how many years later? How
That
many
was that first book.
decades?
First book was 2015, I believe, my first book. And let me tell you, when I wrote that book, when my family got a hold of that book, I found out through one of my cousins. They had a roundtable meeting on my dad's side and said he is lying. That did not happen.
Wow.
My brother wouldn't do that.
Because they
Oh
couldn't
my
believe
God,
it.
they didn't believe it. They didn't believe it. A couple of my cousins believed it, and I had one cousin said, he said at the meeting, he said, I told them, he said, this book is too detailed. There's no way he's lying. And my brother's a pit bull times five. He wanted to go challenge all of them. I said, for what? There's no need. He said,
Yeah.
they don't want to believe it's the damn truth. They goddamn mind. You got to be crazy. We don't want it with this monster.
Mm.
So they didn't know.
And why would I lie on my dad like that?
Yeah, why would I lie? They said I made it up. It was a figment of my imagination that never happened.
That's a crazy ass imagination.
Yeah, yeah. I got a good, vivid imagination too. If I wrote that.
Wow. So, how did your relationship with your father shape your early perceptions of men and masculinity?
Ooh. Mm. Um. How do I even answer that question? I hated him
Yeah, I can only imagine.
because of the stuff he did. It stopped me from getting high on any type of drugs.
Hmm.
I didn't drink because of that, and it made me be nonviolent. It was getting there a few times whenever I had dated someone, and I tried to date females young, but I would get violent with them, and I knew that,
Mm.
like, this is a transferable spirit. This is not good. I would get
Wow.
violent with them, but then I would end up with guys like the molester because the molester treated me like his son. So when I looked at my father, I hated the very essence of him. And I
Right.
tried my best without vomiting to have a decent conversation with him. And it was not always easy because when I was sitting around him, it was like, I'm talking to a stranger. Who are you? Stranger in my house, like Tamia says. I felt like there was a stranger in my house.
Mm.
So eventually, over time, because my father started getting ill in 2014, 15, God had someone call me and told me I have to forgive him.
Yeah. And not for him, but for yourself.
Yes. And I said, okay, God, I'll do that. I heard God say, no, no, I need you to be serious. You've forgiven him with your mouth, but not your heart.
Mm.
It has to work together. When I did that, I just broke down in tears and I actually forgave him and started conversing with him. But he found out about what I wrote when I gave him a book when he was with this woman that he cheated on my mother with. So it took me some time.
And did he ever apologize to you or to
Never,
you and your brother and your sisters?
never, never brought it up. He never said I'm sorry. He died in 2021, 22.
Oh, that was recent.
Yeah, he just died recently. My mother's 20 years ago. And he never apologized. And then he had dementia real bad. So he didn't remember anything. And I would go visit him in the hospitals and the nursing homes, but we never got an apology. But I had to
Yeah.
forgive myself and forgive him.
Yeah. And how did the abuse affect your daily life as a child and just teenager? Like, did the teachers even notice anything?
The teachers didn't notice, but my acts of violence in school was a problem for them. Got great grades, did well in school, in athletics, in the band, all of
Mm-hmm.
that. But I would get violent or erratic towards any student that would try me, or if a teacher said something out of the way, I would get violent with them.
Mm.
But other than that, I was happy, cheerful, jovial, laughing, making jokes. That was my deflector, that
Right.
joking jokes. And my superpower was dressing well
Mm-hmm.
to cover up what I was really going through.
Right.
That was my superpower.
Did your mom ever talk to y'all about this before
No,
she passed away?
nope. It was never brought up. That's strange, right? It was never a conversation about
Mm.
all that we went through in the household. Nobody talked about it as if it was never a thing.
Would you have wanted a conversation?
I would have wanted one with the both of them
Right.
as to why. Why did you do her like this? Why did you stay? Do you understand the effects of what has happened to us? All of us. We all spiral out of control.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how did this affect your brother and your sisters?
Well, my older sister, she still has these issues today because she considered me to be the favorite.
Mm.
And she still angry and bitter. She hated our father to the end. She was angry and bitter with our mom. She would constantly get upset and curse her out and get angry with my mom. And we still see little sprinkles of that right now. My second oldest sister passed away in 16. She got married at 18. She was getting high. She was out there and then she ended up going from marijuana to cocaine to crack. She ended up in a bad car accident that left her in a vegetative state all the way till she died. So she was crying out too, and she ended up in violent relationships with men that me and my brothers had to go rescue her a lot. I,
Wow.
what my sister, she could smoke crack in front of me. She could smoke 10 rocks. But if you lay your hands on her, you're going to the grave or to the jailhouse.
Yeah.
We didn't say that about her. So that was her situation. My brother, he spiraled, he got high, he was doing drugs, he was robbing, he was stealing, he was doing everything. My outlet was white collar and my lifestyle, stealing like no other, doing all kind of bank fraud, credit cards, checks, all this crazy stuff, and just totally just letting go in the gay lifestyle. Like I don't care. So yeah, it affected us really bad.
Wow. God bless you. I'm telling y'all, my guests do not look like what he's been through. Like if we
No.
were sitting next to each other, I would take that shirt off his back and them glasses off his face. Okay, because he is sharp. God bless you. What a story. And we haven't even got to the abusive part yet.
Yeah, I hope they're
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah. So can you describe how you first met the family friend? Or was he a family friend or was he a member of your family who
He
abused
was a
you?
brother-in-law.
Oh wow.
An in-law.
From your
Yeah,
mom, your dad's side?
an in-law. My sister's husband, brother.
Oh wow. And what was your initial impression of him?
So this is how it started. So in the beginning, again, it happened between the ages of 7 or 9. The
Yeah.
book. The way that it happened was I had feminine tendencies. I know that. Why? Because I was more attached to my mom than my
Right.
dad. My dad had no patience in teaching us anything. He wasn't into sports. Everything I did was I patterned after her. How I dressed, music, everything. So I was considered a latchkey kid. You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Okay. I was a latchkey kid.
Mm-hmm.
And first one home, mom told me to follow the rules.
Lock the
He
door,
had
don't let nobody in.
don't let nobody in, do your homework, eat your little snack, go sit down. Because I was a chunky boy. But he would come over
Mm-hmm.
and treated me and did everything that a father should do with his son. Conversations, helping me with homework. How was your day?
Mm.
Um, what did you learn? What is it that we need to study or go over? Are you okay? Eating your snack, making sure nobody's there, just watching television with me, reading magazines.
Spending time with you.
He spent a lot of time with
Mm.
me, and I was attracted to that. That I
Mm.
drew to because he treated me like a son. He would, hold me like a son, like, good job or whatever. And I believe it was about 3 to 4 months that was going on. He had a girlfriend, and I noticed one day she started arguing with him, and I didn't understand why. She said, "You spending so much time with him. What's going on? How come you're always over there? You're over there and you are more than you are at home. You come straight from work. You go get a shower and you go over to their house. What's going on?"
And how old
So
was he?
he was in his, I want to say early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
He was in his early 20s. Because we all lived in a string of apartments. It was four small apartments, and they lived in the third one.
Mm-hmm.
And he would always tend to, he worked for the city, so he would come around the same time I came around, which was around three something. And it was just like she was like, he was like, "You mind your business, blah 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 blah." Telling her to go in the house, and he was very attractive. She wasn't the best looking woman, but
Mm-hmm.
they were together. And now that's why I say when I used to see a really not so attractive woman with a handsome man, oh he gay, oh he like that.
You think so?
We used to
Oh,
we used
give
to
us the
say
tea.
we used to say that back in the day because that's what we call a cover up,
A
or
beard, right?
he's a Dion brother. That's a cover. That's a front. He don't want to be with her. And it's like as I got older, we would sense that more and more that that's what we would see.
Mm.
So they would call them trade or down low brothers in the gay lifestyle.
Right. But is it possible that she made her knew something about him and that's why she was arguing with him?
Well, she had to. She only said anything. The first time I ever seen him say something is because he was coming over a lot more than he should have, just to be watching me. Versus, okay, oh, you're all right, you're fine. Let me lock the door. Go back to me, my wife or my girlfriend's house. We eat dinner and enjoy our evening. He didn't do
Right.
that at our house a lot. So when the initial act happened of me being molested, I just want to say raped, it's like I'm sitting here and he starts sliding over. And I'm like looking at him like, what are you like? What's going on? Like I've never
Like, what are you
because
doing?
my father never did this.
Like,
He
embrace you
never,
and touch you.
he never kissed me. He never held me. I didn't know what it was like to be touched by a man, by a
Mm.
woman, yes, but by a man that was strange to me. So I jumped and I was like, what's going on? And he started, touching me on my thighs and rubbing me in my private area and started whispering in my ear. See, the molestation happened in my mind first
Mm.
before the rape happened in my body.
Right.
Saying all these words, and it's almost like a snake was hissing in my ear, saying, this is good for you, this is necessary, you know, this is something you want. And he was saying, if you don't give me what I want, I can't give you what you want. I can't come over. I can't tend to you. And also, he used to help me work out too, mind you, because he had a really nice body. He would work out. So
Mm-hmm.
he was giving me all these things and feeding them in my ear. And it was like he was breaking down my soul to the point of me giving in of what he wanted. And it happened for years.
Because you spoke about how you felt like it was like a spiritual manipulation.
It was a spiritual manipulation. And my spirit, my soul, my emotions fell for it because I was getting everything that I didn't get from my father. Because I craved that attention before the act happened. Let me just say that.
Mm,
I would stand at the window waiting for him to come because he treated me like a son. We get ready and have a good time in our house of everything a dad should do. We even played sports with
mm,
everything. And when it happened, I felt it was painful because I was penetrated.
right.
And it was painful in my mind because I can't believe this is something I got to do. So it's like a seed was planted in me to be sexually attracted to men.
Wow.
So when he left, eventually they moved. My life I flatlined again.
Mm,
And the next thing I know, this family moves in next door. Didn't know that one of the sons was gay. He
right.
was undercover. He started coming trying to get with me. Then one of my brother's friends was trying to get with me. It was just getting really wild. And I had no gay friends. I had nobody else to reference to what the hell is going on right here.
Right. And being that you are a man of a certain age, I can only imagine like back then people were not as open with their sexuality.
It was very hidden.
Right.
They didn't want anybody to know. And you know what? I only attracted bisexual men. I didn't know what a gay man was. I didn't know what a homosexual or a fag or whatever they want to call themselves, sissy. I didn't know what that was.
Right. Were they bisexual or were they down low?
Same, because every
Right.
one of them had children. Were
Wow.
well, they have kids now, but they dated women. They slept with women. But that's why I was saying they have to be a front. As I got older, and at that time I was a teenager in middle school, well, middle going to high school. So I just didn't care anymore.
Right.
I was out. Then I had a best friend, may he rest in peace, who we were out together. We did everything together, and everybody knew we were gay. It was fly. His mom and them had some good big dope money,
Mm.
big money. So we was riding in the best of Cadillacs, Mercedes Benz, Jaguars, laced in whatever we wanted. And we were known in the town as the ones that if you get them, you just won a lottery. If you get one of those two right there, because we
Right.
didn't meet everybody.
Mm. Did you tell anybody what was going on with
As in
him?
my home with him, never,
Yeah.
never. And you know why? I I didn't tell you this, but you'll read it in the book.
Mm-hmm.
My
You know,
father,
I'm gonna get these books. You know that, right? Listen, I am so, and I read every single book, but I did my research on you and everything. But I'm gonna buy two copies. So any of the listeners, if you would like, I'm gonna do a giveaway. If you are interested in these books, email me at hello@thephgpodcast.com because we have to support our fellow guests because I am so he laughing, but I'm so serious.
I know you are. It's just like I'm just honored to be here. You said you researched me, and
I
I'm like, oh,
did.
God, thank you. So I'm
Yeah, thank
thankful.
you, God, because this is like I'm just so thankful for you and your transparency. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now, what were you about to say? I asked you the reason why you didn't tell anybody.
Oh, the reason why I didn't tell anybody is because one, my father was a very violent man, as I told you. My father has taken the lives of three people and never spent one day in jail.
We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
I'm
It's
telling
not
you,
funny, y'all. He laughing too.
no, I'm laughing because you're laughing, but it's true. I wish my brother was here because he's so animated. But he murdered three people.
How do you know?
I was little. I remember. I heard the stories.
And what happened?
My father was he kept the peace on him. He kept his knives on him. He kept his bats on him. His machetes on him. My father didn't play, and that comes from my grandfather, my great grandfather, that were moonshine hustlers, but they were violent men as well. He didn't play. He
Wow.
grew up in violence. He grew
That's
up in
all
a
he knew.
he grew up in selling and hustling. That's all he knew. And never spent a day in jail for it. And I knew that if I told my father was going to kill him. And
Mm,
I just thought of my mom being all alone. And, even though my dad was who he was in the streets, he really did support us very well because my father was very intelligent with his hands. He was always like a leader or a manager or supervisor. He always got great jobs. So I just thought about what happens if he goes to prison. What's going to happen to us? Now, me thinking as a kid is this. So that's why I never told him.
we
And
don't
I
have to
didn't tell
get
my brother.
we don't have to get too deep, but why did he kill those three people? Like,
Because they tried him. They got in his face. I'm telling you, my father he was a bull.
mm,
He was a bull. And if you got in his face and you got his timing wrong, he was gonna pull out one of them instruments because he really ain't use his hand. He used instruments like this, a
right.
blade or whatever. So it was just in his blood. See, the reason why I said it is because when I wrote my book and doing my research, I wanted to know about my grandfather. Come to find
Mm,
out that my grandfather that raised him, or my grandfather that raised him, was not his father. His father was a runner of what was it, moonshine. He was a runner of women. He had ran a gamble house. He was very violent. He controlled a lot of the guys in the area that he lived in Pennsylvania because he was a boss. So he knew how to make that money.
mm,
So I was told the story that my grandfather, they were playing cards, and there was a guy that was sitting across from him, knew he was cheating. The man was, they say, fixing the cards. He fixed the cards to the point where he knew what cards were what was being thrown out and what cards he had.
child. Oh,
They
he
play a
thought he was
dangerous
slick.
game, don't they?
Right.
So my granddaddy, very intelligent. I got his smarts. My granddaddy knew what he was doing, and they were just playing. Now he had my dad in there. My dad was a little boy, so he was around grown people all his life, serving liquor and everything. So he's still playing the cards. They playing. After a while, the man kept winning over on this side. Let him win, let him win, let him win. After about the fourth time, they said my granddad just slipped that knife from under him and leaped over the table and stabbed the man 3 times in the neck, in the veins. And the man fell on the table. He told my daddy, come here, son. Picked him up, put him on top of the man and said, see, son, this what you do when niggas try you. Don't
Mm.
let them try you, son. Don't let them play in your face. And he told y'all niggas to keep playing. We're gonna play right on this nigga right here.
Wow.
That's part of my bloodline.
Yes, I can only imagine how you gave it up. Yo, God bless your daddy, man. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, we don't condone on how he treated your mom and how he treated y'all, but I can just only imagine what he went through
yeah.
during his journey.
And that's what made me have a soft spot in my heart for him because
Absolutely.
when I found out what
Yeah.
happened.
Because I would be so scared to be sitting on somebody that's dead.
He was a kid. He was terrified. They said he was scared
Yeah.
out of his mind. But was he going to disobey his dad? No. He was in here. And he grew up
Right.
in all of that. Just like when somebody grew up in a mob or a gang, that's
That's
all
all
you
they
know.
know.
That's all you know.
Yeah. And that's probably why your mama didn't leave, because she already know what time he'll be on.
Yeah. See, because we didn't hear all the threats. We don't know what he said to her. If you leave, I'm gonna kill you. We don't know that.
Right.
Stay.
Mm. So did eventually do anybody know who what the friend did? Like, where is he at now? Or the
The only
brother-in-law?
well, this is how people are going to know. I told my brother, and I remember my brother was a carbon copy of my dad until God
Right.
changed him. When I told my brother, he said, because we're so close, I love my brother. He said, if you would have told me this a few years ago, before I got where I am with God, he said I would have walked up and blew his brains out for
Yeah.
you. Because me, I have gone above and beyond because in my hustle days, There was nothing my brother didn't want. So for him to hear that I was actually touched, because I was taunted, I was picked at a lot growing up. So I had to be uber masculine around my athletic family, around my
Yeah.
friends, and even around my brother's friends because I just didn't do what they did. So yeah, that would have happened. But a lot of people know because I put his name in my book. I don't care. I didn't care.
Wow. Wow. And have you been in contact with him?
No, I have not. But you ready for this one? God has a sense of humor
He definitely does.
because I used to see him periodically in the town. So where I live now, he lives right around the corner from me.
You lying.
I don't know what's going on with his health. He limps real bad. He has to stop while he's walking. I've spoken to him. He's spoken to me, and I leave it at that. But I have forgiven him because I don't want to block my blessings, and I don't want to end up not being with God for the rest of my life because of what you've done. And then I don't know if he's done this to other children, or I believe he has kids as well. So, but yeah, I've seen him quite often, and I may see him after this because we're bringing it up again.
Yeah, you speaking him up. Wow.
Yeah.
How would you feel if he was to ever come up to you and apologize?
Ooh,
Because he took away
you
your
know,
innocence and put something on you.
yeah, he did. He took my he took my innocence. He took my childhood. He took my manhood. Though God has restored it back,
Yeah.
um, because the way my heart is set up now, I would tell him I've already forgiven you.
Yeah.
And would I want an apology? Yes, I would definitely love an apology, a sincere one from
Yeah.
him.
You definitely deserve an apology from somebody.
Yes, because I don't think anyone I know wanted to be gay or lesbian or liar. I don't believe so. And I know a lot of straight gay men that's like, I don't really, I wish I never would have gotten to this lifestyle, but I'm in it. This is just who I am. This is the way I am. Or they may say this is the way God made me. And I'm like, that's not true. But a lot
Yeah.
of them don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah. Did you have to forgive yourself?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
God had to tell me that because I didn't know that I had something that I needed to forgive myself. Isn't that something? I didn't even know
Yeah.
that because I thought it
Yeah.
was okay. But no, I did. I forgave myself.
Mm. Yeah, I can tell by just listening to your story and stuff, and like I love God, so I can always tell when somebody else love God, and I can just only imagine what that looked like because with the confliction
Mhm.
and the conviction and everything that you experienced and overcame, so I can only imagine how you looked at yourself in certain situations.
Yeah, I had to forgive myself.
Yeah. Now talk about when you first was introduced to white collar crimes and scamming and drug dealing.
Okay, so how I really started in any type of money activities was in elementary school. Long
I
story
like
short,
that. Money activities.
money activities. When I was in school, I was like I said, I was a chunky boy. I would get my allowance and go to the little corner store and get my little cookies and crackers and snacks and lollipops. And I went to a predominantly white school, so when I went to
Mm,
sit down, the white kids would say, "Can I have something?" I was like, "Give me a quarter." Just came out of my mouth. You have a quarter? Oh my gosh, they were digging in their pockets. A light bulb came on. Because see, their parents don't, that's a treat for them. That's a privilege. I was getting this every day.
right. You was
So
hustling.
I worked extra hard, got more money in my allowance, and would go to the store. Nobody told me to do this. I would get an extra pencil box for my money, a box for my snacks, and I would sell at the table. It got so intense because the kids were talking that I had to go eventually to the restroom and told them, when I get up, you follow me. I got caught like a few months after that. I was making so much money. And
Mm,
that's what started it. Because when they caught me, my daddy laughed, it suspended me. And my mom said, I know there's more money in this room when I got home. The Holy Spirit just told me there's more money. So I had
mm,
to go and find the money where I hid it. And it just started growing. Now, how I started getting into crime is because I like to dress well. And considering I didn't really have a job, I was going to steal. I was going to
mm.
pop the sensors off or bite them off when I would go out with some of my friends, or I would go to the mall with my brother. I would steal for us. And it just
Wow.
kept growing and growing. And eventually, how I got into white collar crime is, they say you are who you attract.
Yeah.
That's true. I started attracting a lot of friends, mostly female, because I didn't really deal with gays. Like I said, I didn't know who they were. Mostly females, and my one gay friend that we would go out and just pop the sensors, steal stuff, places that didn't have sensors. We would get bags. We were moving like
Damn, I wish I
Siamese
knew
cat.
you when you was boosting. Because you got
If
some
you would
good
have known
taste.
me, listen, listen, listen. I'm gonna get this.
Listen.
So eventually, I graduated to going to Atlanta 1 year, drive riding
Mm,
with my cousin, and we were carting some illegal um, pharmaceuticals
mm-hmm.
going to Atlanta, the hot spot. Got stopped in Valdosta. Thank God they wrapped it up in coffee because I was the driver.
Mm.
Coffee keeps the smell away
Right, right, right.
of that product. And I told her, you can get this wheel. I'm not driving till you drop us off. So we get to Atlanta. We meet with her friend, who's one of the known dealers in Atlanta. She takes us to an apartment, 3 bedroom, 2 bath. I'm thinking, I'm like, she has a massive house. Why are we going here? She said, I'm going shopping. I'm thinking, we're going to the mall. No, we go to somebody's house. We walk in. It wasn't a lady's apartment. It was where she stored her items. She had racks in all rooms. When I tell you color coordinated, here go the furs, here go the leathers, here goes this, here goes that. And I'm sitting here saying, how are you getting all these clothes out the store without even tearing them? I saw no torn sensors. So I'm talking to one of the ladies, and I noticed she's taking the sensors off with a machine of these
Yeah.
sensors. I asked her, she gets slick with me, and I got slick right back with her. I said, oh, you're the do girl. Oh, you work for her. Oh, you're the bag handler. I said, that's
Mm.
what you're doing. Because I'm looking over here, she's counting the money. So let me go speak to her. She said, oh, baby, I'll show you how to do it. She teaches me about the 4-line bag, which is one of the chapters in my book.
Yeah. And it's called the fall line bag.
4-line bag. It's in my first book.
Mm-hmm.
And it stops the sensors from going off. We would
Mm.
line a bag inside, and it will stop the sensors from going off when you walk out.
Right, right, right.
And I brought that home, and that took me to another level. That's where I was able to go into the 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐷𝐻, the Comme des Garçons, the Gucci's, and not worry about anything. And that was kind of like getting weird because everybody was doing it. So I started flipping into traveler's checks, then checks, then credit cards, then banks. I was making thousands of dollars a month.
I was like, what's the most money you think you made from this?
In a year, I want to say in a year, at the time maybe 300,000, 400,000 dollars. And remember,
Nah.
I didn't smoke, I
You
didn't
didn't
drink,
drink.
didn't do drugs. So my money was going to be put away, and then I was helping my sister's kids that I told you was in a car accident. So I'm
Yeah.
looking at there was 6 of them. One's deceased, but there were 6 of them at the time, and my parents, and a partner, and myself. So
But that's still a lot of money back in the day, though.
but I have multiple streams of income. If one I want to pick up, I'll pick up the other one. I'll put that down. I'll pick this up. So it just, I got deep into it. I love making the money, and I love what money was doing because it was helping my family and helping
Yeah.
myself. So I was deep into it. Like I had high end clientele. You couldn't. I did go from the streets because I was selling the streets to eventually private meetings, private settings, or you get a
Mm.
list saying, I want all of these items. So I don't have to run all over the place. I can
This is
go,
a
you said,
business.
this was a business. I purchased stuff out of Home Depot, tiles, refrigerators, freezers, all types of things, Rolexes, Cartiers, whatever. And I would go out, make my money, and go home. I wasn't trying to be greedy. I did get caught quite a few times.
Yeah, I was like, did you ever get caught?
I've gotten caught. hmm I've gotten caught several
Mm.
times. But the white collar was just really getting it because I couldn't stop because that was my stream of that was my means of income. Though I
Yeah.
had an education, I did get my degree psychology from Morris Brown. And like I said, in Atlanta, that's where everything just exploded for me.
Mm.
But I needed to really support my family And the check that I looked at over here versus what I was getting in the streets was not adding up. So I pushed that to the side. But the beautiful thing is, I started really getting into fashion,
Mm-hmm.
putting events together, shows, balls, styling people on campus, off campus. My name was growing
Yeah.
in those realms. So that's what I would do because they already knew here in Palm Beach, hey, I'm going to get the best of the best.
Right. So what made you stop?
What made me stop was let me just tell you a story. And God is so loving, He really does weigh the balance of what you ask Him. He looks at your heart. At the time when my sister was in a car accident, I really got on my knees and I put my face on the ground and I asked God, if you allow me, because if you say no, I'm going to stop because I'm already doing what I need to do to help. But if you allow me to take my thing to another level, I promise you I will help my family and whomever you send my way to help them.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it clear as day when I say stop, you stop. So I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
at you. Though I'm going to pay for it later. I'm going to pay for something later. But he was very merciful.
Mm-hmm.
But in 2004, when my mom was, she suffered a stroke and a heart attack.
That's the year she passed away, right?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
God had came to me when she was getting ready to transition, and He said, "Do you remember our agreement?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Put it all away." I didn't stop right away because I still had a lot of stuff to unload, but
Mm-hmm.
that was going to be the end. So I had enough money that was going to buy my parents' home once my mother transitioned. My father was already cheating and doing his thing, but that's when I stopped.
Mm.
That's when I stopped. But during that time, I didn't know that there was a case being built on me and my friends.
Wow.
We knew nothing about it. And I got arrested the same year after my godmother's death. And God spoke to me and said, I had to bring you in here to clean you out. He said, I'm stopping you now because it's going to get worse. I've always talked to him. If I was doing crazy stuff, I would hear his voice. People thought it was crazy. I was like, no, I'm telling you what I'm hearing. Let's go. If it's
Mm-hmm.
something you're ready to happen. So that's when I stopped and I had to go through a lot of tests and trials of my finances. And it was very heavy. But I eventually stopped and, my life is building now. Like I said, I'm in fashion, I'm in entertainment, I'm an actor, I'm an author. I am working on turning some of my, not, I'm working on turning one of my chapters, The Latchkey Kid, into a short film and my book into a film. Like I'm building now more than ever with a lot of things.
Yeah.
I minister, I prophesy, I tell what God tells me to tell people.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Listen. What a story.
that's good.
What a story. Wait, so before we move on, because we're almost finished, did you go to jail?
Yes. I've been in jail
Mm.
quite a few times. I've been
What?
in jail since like my my early teens. No, not my early teens, my late teens. The last time I went to jail was 20 years ago. I'm 55, so it was 35.
Okay.
That was the last time. But I've been in jail here, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama. Everything's in my book.
Yeah. No,
California.
I'm gonna listen. We're gonna have a couple of more follow-up conversations because
Sure. I would love to.
yeah,
But yeah, I did. God has been very merciful to me because
absolutely.
some of my cases should have kept me there for years, especially the
Mm,
one in Alabama. But when I tell
mm.
you God is real, He's real. And
Wow.
when
And
He said, I look at your heart, He means that.
what's
Mhm.
the longest amount you did in jail?
10 months.
Oh wow. Mm.
I spent 2 weeks in prison when I was in Alabama. And when they called me to go to a work camp, the officer said, I have never seen anybody with such a short amount of time here and get moved that quick. She said, you've got some praying people on your side. I said, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And even when I got out of the work camp, They gave me 2 weeks probation, parole.
Mm-hmm.
The lady said, another lady, she was like, I don't even know why 2 weeks. She said, just call me. I'm gonna sign you out. You don't even have to come in. She said, I've never seen you before.
Mm.
But it was 10 months here in Palm Beach County, but I did like 6, 7 months in Alabama.
Mm. Overall in your life, what are your thoughts on forgiveness? And what does that mean to you?
My thoughts on forgiveness is it's the most freeing thing you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
Because if I hold a grudge and anger towards you, whatever that may mean, or my situation or my circumstance, it's going to eat me up and alive, and I am not going to be at peace. I'm not going to be
Yeah.
comfortable. I'm not going to be able to focus or function. Because if there's something that goes on in my life that triggers me and takes me back to that place, I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to have an unhappy marriage, an unhappy life, unhappy work environment, and an unhappy everything. You can't keep holding on to that because something will trigger you to take you there. But when you forgive and you free it in your heart and mind, it's
Mm-hmm.
not going to move you. So that's what it does for me. And I tell people that unforgiveness ages you. I
Yeah,
tell them you better take care of yourself
that's
and
a
let
fact.
go.
Now, when it comes to your healing, what are some things that you do to continue your journey with healing? Because, like you said, one wrong thing can trigger you, and it can take you back to how you used to be. So, what's some things that you do now when it comes to your healing journey?
My healing journey starts with soaking music.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say meditation, but there's a on YouTube. I listen to a lot of soaking music. I read my Bible. I
Mm-hmm.
talk to God, and I've actually gone to the Creator to ask Him to clean out my heart, clean out my soul, because I can't do it. If
Yeah.
I don't allow Him to do it, then I'm going to fill it up with junk and drama and trauma and foolishness. If those triggers are going to come, then what?
Yeah.
And when it does come, it's like I have a shield over my heart
Mm.
hurt or abused because he had to put it there because it's going to try to come back. Like the Bible says that the breastplate of righteousness, when something hits it, like it, hitting any armor, it's going to bounce off. And I have
Mm-hmm.
to learn to, like I say, take things with a grain of salt. And I also do this. I also look at the person and say, well, what are they going through?
Yeah.
What are they dealing with? Why are they acting like that? Why is that person like that? And then when you
Yeah.
sit and get to know that person and they tell you their story or why they're like that, it makes it a whole another world. It's totally different for me.
Yeah.
And then
Because
when I'm
sometimes it don't
asking
even be
God,
about you, it be about
show me
them.
their heart.
Yeah.
Yes. Show me their heart. Show me what's in
Mm-hmm.
their heart. And it's going to make you love them even more, or how are you going to deal with that person?
Yeah. And what advice would you give to others who are struggling with their relationships with men due to a difficult relationship with their father?
What advice would I give someone that's struggling with a relationship with their father or men?
Due to a difficult relationship with their father.
My best advice is to just, I would say, write things down.
Mm-hmm.
Write down what you have, what issues you have with a man or with your father, and look at those things and focus on, well, I don't like my dad or men because of ABC, XYZ. And you got to go to the root of whatever you're dealing with, and you got to start working on killing the root of those issues. Because if
Right.
you don't do that, it's going to repeat over and over. Male boss, your sister's boyfriend, your mama new husband, you have to deal with that stuff. And don't resort to going to drinking and drugging because it's going to make it worse. I tell people you have to pray, you have to talk to God. If you don't know him, you don't believe in him, you need to talk to him right now because it's going to help you. Because there's no
Mm-hmm.
other way. And I don't mind telling people, go get you some therapy,
Yeah.
go get you some help. Write it down because writing is very cathartic and it's freeing.
Yeah.
Even if you take it and you tear it up and you flush it or you burn it, and you feel better. It's just you have to let that stuff go because it's just going to fester and grow. And forgive them. Try your best to forgive them in whatever way that may mean, because if you don't, it's going to just come back again.
Yeah. Yeah. And last but not least, how can men support each other better, particularly those who have had similar experiences?
We just had a men's barbecue last week. This is the second one. Sit down and listen to what's going on in each and every person's life. Don't judge. Don't try to assess. Don't try to psychoanalyze. Just sit and listen and let that person pour out what they're feeling or what they're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you do that, now you have to come up with a plan of action and a solution. What does that mean for that person? Help them to come up with something that's going to resolve why they feel the way they feel.
Yeah.
Once you do that, you'll get a new friend because you came to help me. You didn't come to
Mm-hmm.
point fingers. You didn't come to judge me. You came to help me and
Right.
direct them to the proper places to where they can get full-on therapy or teaching them how to meditate and pray versus
Mm-hmm.
just pushing stuff on them because that's very sensitive. You have to give people time
Yeah.
to be able to get to that place of being totally healed, delivered, and set free from that pain. Because it's a seed that turned into a root, a tree that's now a root with fruit on it.
Yeah.
Now you gotta learn how to cut that tree down and excavate the roots and help them heal.
Yeah. I am so happy we connected. Y'all, he literally just told me we had a little interception because my computer was acting weird, but he literally just told me how he feels inspired to start his own podcast.
Yes, I'm very inspired.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
your story is I'm so happy that I decided to do this series, and I'm just so happy that you are one of the men that I've spoken to and to have on my show. So I really can't thank you enough for being a part of it.
Thank you, Ebony. Many blessings on what you're doing. May the Lord expand what you're doing.
Yes.
You're going to get many men that will get on here and just be able to. You might be the new Club Ebony.
Okay, listen. Okay, scoot over, Club Shay Shay.
Yes, move over. So yes, I'm honored. Thank you again. This means the world to me, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful.
No, I'm grateful too. And y'all heard him. He said he gonna come back on. He gonna ask his wife. I'm going to support his books. I'm doing the giveaway. So please make sure to email me at hello at the PhD podcast. If you want to know more about my guest, please make sure to hit me up so we can support him. And thank you so much to my guest. I'm
Thank
pretty
you.
sure we're gonna talk again.
Yes, we will. Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
It's so funny because I was on a family Zoom Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really get on because I'm busy or I'm just tired or whatever. The Spirit of God told me to get on Sunday, and it was just one family member. Then two of my other, I have a lot of elderly family members that are still alive. And he said, share your story, tell them about your books. Long story short, one of my cousins, who's a minister, a pastor at a church in Killeen, Texas, when I told my story, she said, God is so strategic.
Mm.
Yeah, do you know this is a topic that's being discussed in our church right now with a lot of the mothers and grandmothers who don't know what to do because a lot of their children are indulging in that lifestyle and they feel like they have no hope.
Mm.
I said, well, God told me to share it. She called me today and said, I need 4 sets of your book, not one,
Yeah.
because I'm going to buy them and gift them to them to show them that there is hope. I said, and if you need me to come to Texas, I'll come and speak, or even on the prayer line. She said, you're going to get a lot more orders through me because it needs to be told.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I was not expecting to have the conversation I had with you today. So I am pretty sure that everyone is going to reach out and they are going to want to support you. My guests know that sharing is caring, and we all about supporting entrepreneurs. So it has been an honor to have you on, and I'm pretty sure we are going to be keeping in contact. And however I can support
Yes,
you, I am only a phone call away. Now you have my number too, so.
yes, yes. Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you.
And to the listeners, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please make sure to email me at hello at the PhDpodcast.com. Share this story because you never know how this storyline can be someone else's lifeline. And until next time, everyone, Later.
Peace.